We are on a mission to save and revitalize independent pharmacy.
On the Catalyst Pharmacy podcast, you'll get actionable business advice.
Hear stories from industry leaders.
And share a laugh or two with us.
Fuel your passion for pharmacy.
One conversation at a time.
So, Eileen Jordan, you are the implementation specialist for Therigy. I'm Marsha Bivins, Director of Marketing for Pioneer. And to my left is the wonderful Jeff Key.
Hello, Jeff.
So, okay, before you jump into all the business, hard business questions.
How did you know about us?
I know about you. I know enough about you.
Oh.
So talk to us about you. Like, where did you get started?
Oh, long time ago. I am a registered nurse.
Okay.
Came out of school in 1975.
I like how she blurred the words like it was a cuss word.
Yes.
I want to hear 70s. What part of the country were you at in the 70s coming out of college?
Oh, Pittsburgh. I'm a Pittsburgher.
Pittsburgh.
Are you originally from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I'm actually from the Pittsburgh area in a little town called Aliquippa, big for football. Mike Ditka, Tony Dorsett.
Nice. Eileen,
Okay.
were you discoing in the 70s?
Of course.
Of
That was
course.
my
Who wasn't
time.
discoing in the 70s?
Huh?
Who wasn't discoing in the 70s?
Who was
I
it?
wasn't yet discoing in the
You were
70s.
a child.
Oh,
I know. I
okay.
was. There was actually my aunt was discoing, and I wanted her so bad to take me, and I was too young. I just thought that would be the.
No, we know the story. The corruption started early with this one.
So let's just slide away just for a second. So where did it tell us about disco in the 70s?
Ooh.
Oh, wow. I could tell you what I wore. Bell bottoms, short top. I mean,
How
I used
big
to
was
have
the
to
hair? Because I feel like big hair was a big thing in the 70s.
Well, and my hair is long, but it wasn't as tame back then. So it was just like a wow. I never could really get the Afro look.
Okay.
So I had like the flat Afro look, but the bushy Tina Turner look.
More
so,
afro than an
Okay.
afro, right?
Yeah.
But she
yeah,
had the
but
Tina
it was
Turner
out-
going.
It was
Nice.
That's
It was
that's
out
dreamy.
to here. It was past my shoulders.
So
at
is this
the time,
something
so-
like every weekend? So the college scene, or is this something maybe occasionally?
Is this just a once a month?
Were you
or
a disco queen? That's what
Like
we're asking.
every Friday
Eileen.
night you were on
Well,
that floor.
in my mind, I probably was one, but my dad was so strict. Maybe quarterly, I was a disco
A
queen.
quarterly disco queen. Okay. Da-na-na.
That's right.
Yeah, I have
That's
Mamma
right.
Mia played in my head now.
All right.
Donna
Dancing
Summer.
Queen.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Moving begrudgingly
So-
past the disco queen. Tell us what happened
Back
next.
to nursing school.
So anyway, came out of high school, went to the local community college, and actually came out as an LPN. My father was he liked to keep his daughter home.
Okay.
So I wanted to go experience the world. So I got a job in the city of Pittsburgh and moved, which hurt his heart. Ended up marrying a childhood friend
Aw.
who we had just kind of started dating, and moved back home to Aliquippa and raised a family at that time. So 10 years later, I go back to school. I get my RN back at the community college.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And since then, like over the last, I guess, 10 years, when did I go back to school? 7, 8, 9 years I've been in school straight. So I've gotten a bachelor's in business and MBA in administrative healthcare.
Wow.
And I am this close to finishing up my Ph.D. in executive leadership.
Impressive.
Wow.
I know.
Gosh,
That's
I know.
exciting.
I have so much I could just learn from you.
Now,
alone.
did your dad have a college degree?
No, my dad was born in 1920.
Wow.
He grew up in the South, came out of school at 3rd grade because he had to work and help his family. So it was really important for us to go to college. And,
Yep.
college meant community college to him. So
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, he's no longer alive, but he
Well,
would
I'm
be
proud of you for him.
blown away. Yeah, he would be
So-
blown away with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
PhD.
What a
so,
great story.
Yeah. He was a
Yeah.
smart man. I think if he was just born in a different time,
Yep.
life would have been very different for him.
Yeah.
What a success, though. What
Yes.
what a deal he
Yes.
pulled off.
Absolutely.
To have, now, do you have siblings?
I have one brother.
Okay.
He's still back in the home territory. He's actually in Beaver Falls, which is where
Okay.
one of the older football players is from, Joe Namath,
Wow.
if that name means anything.
And what does your brother do today?
He actually is retired because
Okay.
all of us are reaching that retirement age, but
Mhm.
I don't have an expiration date. I don't have plans on retiring.
You got drive. That's what you have.
Yeah, it's the same way. I know. I think about that as you get older. You're like, what would I do besides
Yeah.
drive I get too long of a weekend. I'm like nuts. So
Yeah.
I got to
Yeah.
be doing. So I enjoy traveling, but that's a doing. I have to constrain myself from
Right.
doing too much
Right.
on travels. All right. So what are you doing now?
Well, I think working's okay, just as long as you're doing what you love to do.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, but I have 3 girls.
Sounds expensive.
They're getting old, yeah, and they're still expensive. They're going to kill me for telling their ages, but my oldest is 43. The middle is 41, and the baby's going to be 37.
Wow.
Okay.
And are they nearby?
Well, we got a little bit of a strange story going on right now.
Uh-oh.
I've been building a house for over a year and a half, almost 2 years. So we sold our house and it went on the market very quickly
Yep.
in April
bet.
2021. And we bought a house like 2 weeks later, and they're just now starting to build it because of different delays.
Yeah.
So I've been moving from child to child. So I know.
So they're really close.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
in the
so
next room.
Well, I'm actually in my oldest daughter's office right now. So,
Nice.
so what she does, she works for a payroll software company.
Okay.
She's been with them for about 15 years, one of the major players out there.
Mm-hmm.
My middle daughter, I think, has the most interesting job.
Uh-oh.
She is the traveling massage therapist for a professional NBA basketball team.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I tease her all the time that because, they always fly on their own airplane.
Yeah.
So I tease her all the time. You're never going to want to go back to the we people. We fly
No
coach.
kidding.
Yep.
And if it's special, I may be able to fly first class. But, she
Mhm.
walks onto the plane. She gets on her phone. She gets her meal.
Yeah.
She's spoiled.
Oh my word. I would say so. Yeah.
My word. Did you say
Yeah.
my word?
Yes, I did. I grew up on Shirley Temple, so.
My word.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
my word.
So grandkids?
Well, I got one more daughter.
Oh,
She'll be real upset if I don't mention
slow
her.
down
You know how
there.
those youngest ones
Yep.
are.
Yes,
They
you
feel like
can't
they're left
forget the
out
youngest.
of everything. So she actually the one who works probably the closest in medical. She is a nuclear technician. So she's the one who injects you with all the nuclear stuff
Like
when you go to
chemo
radiology.
and-
Yep.
Okay.
Well, also could be radiology. Could be just diagnostic. within
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
now grandkids.
I have one biological grandchild.
Okay.
His name is Remington. He's 6 years old.
Oh, what a cool name.
That's
He
a fun
reads
age.
everything. Like if I'm sitting and working on my computer, he will start reading if I'm working on my dissertation, he'll start reading my dissertation. Women's barriers in employment. So Nana, what's barriers?
How old is he?
6.
He's
6. Okay. Nice. That's a fun. I don't have a lot during the pooper sleeper eater age. Like when they get out of there and they really
he's,
start.
At 6, he's done pooping, eating, and sleeping. He's He's reading.
I know he's reading, and he's
conversating. It sounds
Nana's like the dancing queen, right? Nana is everything. You know that's the age 6s where you're like, adults are amazing. They just know everything, and I'm just this super sponge learning. And you actually get somebody who listens to you and wants to learn.
Well, and Remington kind of puts that in reverse.
Oh, he does?
So he feels he needs to teach Nana things too.
Nice.
So, and he'll go, say it with me. You know, I'm like, wait a minute. I graduated already from high school.
I'm working on my
you
PhD.
Just need to get there,
I almost
right?
have a PhD. Why am I repeating?
Right.
Yeah.
Here's a real funny story. So I always have a calendar at my desk, and it was Hanukkah, and he learned about Hanukkah in school. So he looks up my calendar and he goes, "What's that word?" I'm like, "It's Hanukkah." He goes, "That's not spelled correctly because they had spelled it with a C on the calendar."
Oh, wow.
So I explained to him how, there's different spellings, and this is what Hanukkah is. He goes, "Yeah, Nana, I learned that in school. But what's Chanukah?" I'm like, "It's pronounced Hanukkah." And I went through this whole explanation again. He goes to school the next day, and he tells his teacher, "You're not teaching me properly. There's 2 different ways to spell Hanukkah. You should have taught me that."
Both of them. I should have been better prepared. How did you find? Did his teacher tell you?
Yeah. Well, needless to say, Remington's a little high maintenance, so he texts Remington's mom a lot. So that's how we found out about it. You need to teach him. You need to be teaching me the right way. You're not teaching me the right way.
Oh, how funny.
I like that Remington's a little high maintenance.
It's amazing because, some people have the mentality that children are to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Not in our generation.
Yeah. Yeah, not in our
because
generation.
my eyes were always open and I was like observing and listening and just taking in everything. And I forgot that a little bit when I became a parent, and like, this is the funniest story about Cohen, my son. He's about to be 14, but when he was 3 years old, he handed me this doodle sketch. The little magnet pens that pulls and he goes, "Mom, will you write my name?" And I'm thinking, okay, he's 3 years old. He doesn't know how to spell his name, and I write love. And he goes, he erases it, hands it back to me. He goes, "No, Mom, write my name." And so I wrote the dog's name. And he gets annoyed, and he erases it again, and he hands it to my husband and goes, "Dad, will you write my name and write it correctly?"
Whoa.
And I'm like, and we're both looking at each other like, how does this 3-year-old know how to
the
use
word correctly?
Correctly, and he's using it correctly.
Correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's when we figured out, okay, all cylinders are firing on this one. So, but I mean, it's just amazing how much they absorb and you don't know it.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
he's probably going to walk in quoting your dissertation next to the teacher.
Yeah. I told my daughter, you make sure if I'm not around when he's grown, you make sure you tell him he was reading his Nana's dissertation at 6 years old.
Yeah,
So.
that's the way we telling our teacher. Do you know there's barriers to women?
Yeah, to women's progression in the executive suite.
Did you know that? Is there an executive suite in this school?
What kind of barriers are you hitting?
What kind of barriers do you have?
Yeah. Yep. You have
what a
just
lovely.
described Remington.
I can't wait for grandkids. Maybe they should have that, but I'm looking forward to that one day. So,
Yep.
All right.
I have a
so
little
we've-
practice
we've-
spoiling your children, but
Yes, he practices grandparenting on my children, and they are spoiled. And sometimes I'll get a call and go, "It's been a day, and I want Cohen for dinner." And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, you can have him. And so he'll pick up my kids, and him and Kelly will take my kids for dinner sometimes. And it's like, "Hey, Mark, where do you want to go for dinner?" Because Jeff and Kelly have the kids.
That's very cool.
So-
I believe in extended family.
I-
Family
yes.
is who you make
absolutely.
it.
yeah, I think the Hawaiians have a word for that.
Ohana.
Ohana. Yeah.
Ohana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which,
Yeah, watch Lilo and Stitch. That's where I learned that.
yeah. Look
Yeah.
at Disney working for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Guess where Remington and his parents are at today?
Hawaii. What part?
Disney.
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 Oh, nice.
Okay.
Is it a good time to be in Disney? What is it? February?
January.
No, it's January. It's
Probably
cold,
slow.
though, in Florida.
Yeah, cold. Is it cold?
Yeah.
I guess it could be cold or warm. I'm going, my wife's birthday's on the 14th. And so
Don't forget.
we're going,
Don't forget.
yeah, we're going to Disney for her birthday this year.
Nice.
We got married in December and decided Disney World was the right place to go to for our honeymoon, along with the other half of America. That's the time of year they actually shut the parks down because they're so full. But
yeah,
so
all right. So we fast forward. We are out of college. We're out of college, although we're working on our dissertation. And so, how did you? What was your path between college and Therigy?
So my life was driven a lot by, I went through a nasty divorce when I went from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia, and I was actually the head clinical director for a long-term care facility at the time.
Okay.
And kind of went through a nasty divorce, decided to run away to Florida, and was faced with raising 3 girls by myself with like no financial or emotional support from the other partner.
Okay.
So I was very driven by my need, and I was always looking for better salary, better hours. And, sometimes I look back at my resume and look at all the experience I have, because there were times I worked 2 and 3 jobs.
Wow.
If the kids needed, and my kids did drum corps, they were constantly spending money in school.
They did drum corps?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
All 3 of them did drum corps.
Nice.
So, those fees were like a couple of $1,000s. And if it didn't fit in my budget, it was, Eileen, go get another job. Go get another part-time job. Mm-hmm. So I did home care. I did infusion, stumbled across pharmacy, specialty pharmacy at that time, because I never knew it existed. Worked in the hospital nights, did intensive care, did CCU. I ended up being a rounding nurse for a major cardiology group in Orlando. So I was very driven by my need to take care of my kids and provide for them. So you spend 15, 20 years doing that, you turn around and then you don't have anything to drive you. It's like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to do?
What's next?
Where do I want to live?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because everybody was out of school, out of college, and I really had to have that conversation with myself about, what do Eileen want? Because I have not asked myself that question like in 25 years. So decided to go back to school.
Yep.
They wanted me to retake A&P because it was so old from whenever I had it before, anatomy and physiology, and I just didn't want to retake it. So at the time, I was a clinical advisor for a couple of hospitals in a major healthcare corporation. And I used to report directly to the chief financial officer. And he's like, so Eileen, do you have plans on going back to the bedside? Because by then I was away from the bedside. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I know there's other things I can do to help patients without actually laying hands on them.
Yep.
He's like, well, go get a business degree. So I got a business degree. Then I went on and got an MBA. And then I had a friend of mine who graduated from the program that I'm in now. And she's like, okay, Eileen, put your application in, go and get your Ph.D. And I'm like, what? So she said, I'm sending you the application, fill it out, and send it in. So that's what I did.
I love how you're like just so nonchalant. Like, yeah, I decided to go to school. I did this. And then I saw the next mountain. I went, I'm going to do that. And you're just like, I saw another checkbox and it's like, cool, I'm going to do that. Check. What's the next one? I love how just, you're like, it was so easy.
So you're working on your PhD now while working for Therigy. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
So tell us some about what you do at Therigy.
Oh, I love what I do first. I get to introduce clients to the Therigy platform, Therigy STM. Okay. Therigy STM is a clinical management program that helps specialty pharmacies not only prove their outcomes for their patient care, but also improve their process in their pharmacy. It provides a platform to help them report on what they do for the patients, how
Okay.
they counsel the patients, what goals they're covering with the patient adherence with medication. So my role in that, after, of course, they sign on to Therigy, is to take them through that initial training,
Okay.
introducing them to the software, how the software works, what information they need to populate to showcase the journey that their patient is going through in their pharmacy. So it's really exciting being able to help these facilities, these specialty pharmacies, not only prove that they're taking excellent care of their patients, but prove their patient outcomes, help them with their data, providing that data for them to reach accreditation with either URAC or ACHC.
Right. So you're part of that transformation, right? So you're going in there,
Yeah.
transforming the way they're redoing their workflow.
So they come on to Therigy and you're like the initial onboarding
Correct.
and
Correct.
training. So
Correct.
are you starting to create a more of a training program? So that way it's like, hey, cool, I've got you started and now here's your like continued training.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
that a, go ahead.
Yeah, we're always evaluating and structuring new ways to train. Because, sometimes businesses
Case
grow
by
very,
case,
very quickly.
and they run their operations differently. Absolutely.
Correct. And another thing is turnover of staff. I may train these initial staff persons and, somebody hits the lotto or get a better offer on the job. And next thing you know, they're gone and they've taken that training with them.
Right.
So, we do have a resource that we offer in their subscription where it has that exact training that I've performed. It is in this resource that they can utilize. And one of the things that me and my partner does, Deb is also a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And what's neat about Deb and I, we're the implementation managers, just the two of us. And what's funny is we worked together years ago also. So that's
wow.
really, really nice, working with somebody who I really enjoyed their friendship back then. So
Is she a dancing queen?
I think she's a little bit younger than
Is she
I
really?
am,
Okay.
but she may be. I tell you one thing, she's a Disney queen.
Is she?
Disney
Okay.
all the way. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're always looking at ways to have that sustainable approach to our training and then be able to, as these facilities bring in new employees, how do they train their new employees on our platform?
All right, so you're in the implementation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you also give input back into the product? So is there things that you're learning when you're helping these specialty pharmacies on board?
That you learn about the way they run their business and how that could also help grow Therigy.
Right. So do you get to give feedback back into what gets programmed into the
development?
product?
Absolutely. The implementation team, Deb and I, and we do have a pharmacist we work with, Abbott, but we are also part of the clinical team of Therigy. And we get to talk to who I call the pharmacy developers and who are pharmacists, and they help develop the content.
Okay.
But we're able to give them that upfront feedback of what we get from our clients, what their needs are. And it's very difficult because needs can vary from client to client.
Right.
Needs can vary from an infusion pharmacy to
From patient
a
to
pharmacy
patient.
that specializes in HIV or oncology,
Right.
or bleeding disorders. It varies across the market. So our job at Therigy is to try to find that common platform that they can utilize. And what's also wonderful about Therigy, they can also customize their environment to help them meet their needs. Or we try to really talk to them about what data they want to show on the back end, kind of begin with the end in mind.
Okay.
What do you want to report on? Oh, okay, so if you want to report on those things, this is the type of data you need to collect.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
what kind of trends do you see? I guess you've been doing this how long?
3 years. We're still in January this month.
Yeah.
3
Yes.
years
Nice.
this month.
So what do you, over the last 3 years, do you see any trends in specialty pharmacy? What's going on in the specialty pharmacy world?
I think they're suffering. They're suffering from everything that everybody else is suffering from, especially post-COVID, is change of staff.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
staff turnover is such a big thing across a lot of
The Great
different
Resignation.
businesses. And I'll tell you, one of the things is because when COVID hit, a lot of people my age, I guess, came out of the job market, and it really left a lot of positions. And with those positions being numerous now, you can truly go to who's paying the most money. You know, it's
Right.
become very, very competitive with the employers on, trying to stay ahead of anybody else that may be offering the same exact thing.
Interesting.
So that's a challenge. That's a challenge.
Anything else? How's it,
turnover.
reimbursements or accreditation getting a lot harder, or any other kind of trends you're seeing?
Well, reimbursement, I've been on the business side of healthcare for probably the last 25 years. And reimbursement across the board in healthcare is getting to be a hot topic. I even see that in my own personal insurance that I have. It's like, you better follow the rules, because if you don't follow the rules, you stand not to get your claims paid. So if there is a protocol you need to follow before you have knee surgery, if there's a protocol you need to follow before you get to this specific drug, you better make sure you follow that protocol, or those claims are not going to get paid. And that's been actually going on for quite some time. I just think there's been no type of real solution for it. What I find as a solution is educating yourself on exactly what those benefits are, what the insurance companies want for reimbursement, even from your own personal standpoint. I know I've helped a lot of, I really need to open up like a nurse advocacy business, because I've offered a lot of free advice to a lot of friends of mine on how to navigate through healthcare. And that's what it is. It's a navigation.
Right.
And a lot of times you need help navigating the system.
Is the specialty boat sailed? If I was, can you get into specialty today? Could somebody new start off and start a new specialty business?
We have a lot of people who try.
Yeah.
And I've seen some try and fail, try to get contracts with pharmacy benefit managers. You know, everything is very contract driven, contracts with manufacturers. But, you know, one of the requirements for those contracts is you have to be URAC accredited. So you really do have to extend yourself to obtain that accreditation.
Right.
Before it gives you access to those other drugs that you need to have that accreditation for. So that really hasn't changed in my years in specialty pharmacy. I think there's more players in the field now. And they're starting to, like whenever I first got into specialty pharmacy, my specialty pharmacy, we did a little bit of everything. And then, of course, I was actually working in a carve-out where we did infusion. And we did IVIG, sub-Q IG, we did hemophilia, you know, which is factor. And we basically took care of any patient that was on any type of infusion in the pharmacy, because our regular flow didn't have the skill to deal with, you know, do the patient need a pump? What kind of supplies they need for that infusion? You know, it's just a little bit of a different area. So there's more players on the field now, getting back to that subject. And I think people are doing more carve-outs. You know, we're only going to do bleeding disorders.
Yeah.
Right.
We're only going to do oncology, you know, or we're only going to do HIV.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of the new people that you are working with? You see those are health systems opening up specialty pharmacies?
The majority of our clients are health systems. And, it's funny because I've been on the other end of the table when I worked for a major healthcare corporation in the U.S. Finding new areas of revenue has always been that challenge, and they may have new programs that are coming out where, they project they're going to make so much money. But after a while, you can only offer so many programs in the hospital. So then they start looking at other things. And one of the things that these health systems are looking at is opening up specialty pharmacies that are part of the healthcare, because what they saw was that money leaving out of their corporation and going to someone else. So let's figure out how to keep the money within our doors.
You've been with Therigy for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get a little like spy notes. And so there's a couple of things I'm reading that I'm kind of curious about. Spy notes. Yes. That's my word for the day. You were a traveling nurse. So when did that take place? And what all is in that? Like where all do you get to go?
So remember when I was telling the story of just better hours, better salaries?
Yep.
There was one point in my life I had moved into case management.
Okay.
And nurse case management. And needless to say, it was not paying me the money that I was making when I was assistant director of the ICU unit, because I was in trauma medicine at the time. But, I kind of want to back out of chasing the fire truck. I'm getting older. I remember advice that a nurse told me years ago when I was working in Pittsburgh. We were on the code team. And when they would call a code overhead, which means, somebody's heart has stopped, and everybody from different parts of the hospital would come to that patient's room.
Okay.
So I was a brand new nurse, and I was training on the code
blue is not
team.
a thing. It was call a code.
Yep. Call a code blue, whatever the hospital coded it.
Okay.
So we would run to the code. So my preceptor, she would walk to the code. And I turned around and I looked at her. Yeah. And I'm like, we got to hurry up and get there. She goes, Eileen, we're going to get there. And she turned around and said to me, she said, if you stay in healthcare as long as I have, you will one day be walking to the code. And I was like, I don't think so, right?
No, that's someone's life that's like
so here I am, years later. And I'm working in the ICU, and I'm training my young nurses, and I'm in charge of code team for them. So we had gone to a few different codes, and here I am walking to the code. And it made me remember that information, because first one in the code, you usually get in there and you start doing the chest compressions.
Right.
It takes a whole entire team to get through that whole event.
Okay.
So I found myself, as the years went by, I no longer had the desire to be the first one at the code doing the chest compressions. Matter of fact, the last time I did chest compressions, I tore my shoulder. So I haven't done chest compressions since then. And then you kind of graduate to being the go-to, being the person to go get stuff at the door, because everybody's in the room. Oh, you need something? I'll go get it. Let me go get that. And then you gravitate to being the person who go talk to the family. And that's where I would end up at. And I really felt that I build rapport very easily with people, with patients, with clients. I really felt that's where my niche was, talking to the family, getting them to understand what's going on, what's being done, helping them navigate if they need to move to that decision of no code or to stop working on their loved one. So that's where I felt that's where my greatest skill was at, and not in there doing
the chest compression.
So
the big buzz today, especially the last month or two, big buzz is AI, Chat GPT, right? Everything AI. Is Therigy thinking, talking? Is there any kind of AI role in specialty pharmacy, or
Jeff's obsessed.
You guys
with
been talking about that in the back. What are we going to do with AI?
Well, we have our platform, and our platform, it's a web-based platform, right?
Okay.
So, you don't have to load in a server or anything. It's web-based. You can access it from work. You can access it from home. What I find in my role with engaging AI would be helping to set up something where our clients can support the virtual training that Deb and I are providing. People are going to always have questions, and those questions are targeted towards their specific situations. I don't think AI can address that the way it needs to be addressed,
right?
Specifically, So personally, I see the need for AI because there has to be some sustainable way for us to continue to train, especially when it comes with new employees. But I think that initial onboarding, when it comes to our clients, I think they still have to have, to some degree, that upfront personal touch.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if they start training in AI, even if they go to our resource site, watch the simulations, participate in the simulations, read the information, they're still going to have questions that AI cannot answer.
So do you watch any medical shows and shake your head and go, that's not right?
No, I signed off medical shows years ago because
I feel like some people in the medical profession, like you are, you'll watch it and you'll be like, yeah, that's not right, or you just cut it off and I'm not watching that.
Or it's like, that's my life. That's like my wife, who's an occupational therapist. She doesn't like watching medical shows because she's like, no, that's my life. If I'm going to watch something for entertainment, I'm not going to watch my life. Right. Well,
like my sister-in-law, she's a nurse. She's a special kind of nurse. She's a midwife. So she lived with us for about 9 months while she was up here getting her midwife certification. And had to deliver so many babies before graduation. Right. And she watches Grey's Anatomy. But she does sit there and critique everything that the nurses do and the doctors do. And it's like, this is scripted, that? She goes, I know, but it's just funny to me.
Well, and it's probably she's doing the same thing in the real live nursing room. She's criticizing everything that's going on. So
she absolutely did. My brother actually got into a nasty wreck. And I was in the room like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to grab? And she's sitting there and she's criticizing these nurses going, you're not supposed, that's a no-no. She's not supposed to do it that way. Yeah. And she was only like in her first 2 years of nursing. And so like the rules were like engraved, and that's what you don't move into that.
So just because she's watching the TV and saying, don't do it that way, doesn't mean they don't do it that way.
Well, no, she's critiquing, I guess, the order in which they do things.
Right.
That is not what it's not actually how it's supposed to be. It's all the stuff that's made up for drama, or to make that person look busy in the background.
Right. So let me tell you guys something that you can keep your eye out for. This is the little times I've watched, this really bothers me. So you'll have a patient, the family comes in and they're like in a coma. And they have a breathing tube down their throat. They have the tube
in their mouth, right? Yes.
Yeah. I want you to notice how the tube is sticking out this far, and then the ventilator connects to it, right?
Right.
That tube should be all the way down their throat.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the connectors are right here, not over here.
So rather than cutting it short to video it, they just left it the same size and just left it further out, so it wasn't actually down there.
Right. Cut it short. If you're going to fake it, at least make it look right.
Right.
So just cut it short, put it in their mouth, and put the connector here, and not have the endotracheal tube that's supposed to be down your throat, have it hanging out the side of their mouth.
So we have our trade.
They sold it well.
Yeah, our trade show Therigy usually comes and
I think Therigy's already registered this
already
year.
registered.
Yeah.
So are you gonna get to go? Are you gonna go?
Yeah, do we get to
I
like
would
meet
love to
you
meet you in person.
and shake your hand? I'm actually like the line that your grandson read of the dissertation. I'm like, I want to read this. How can I get my copy? And can your grandson come with you?
Let me pass my dissertation defense first.
Okay. So are you gonna get to? Do you go to the trade shows? Are you gonna get to be there?
I have not had the privilege to
Who
go.
do I have to call?
I did have the opportunity. There was one that was going on towards the end of last year, I think in the fall, and I was offered to go, but I had a very important personal appointment that I couldn't miss, so I was unable to go, and one of our customer success managers went instead. So I would love to go. So
Okay, well, I'm going to email and make a personal request that we get Eileen Jordan.
Right.
Eileen, I don't know. Eileen Jordan, I'm so sorry.
Well, wait. Let me tell you the way I used to tell my patients. And when I say this, my maiden name used to be Lowe. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
So I would
Eileen
go in,
Lowe.
and my patients couldn't get my name right. I would say Eileen
Low.
Oh.
Nice. I like that.
Very interesting. Well, I hope you're there, right?
Mine, when people are like, wait, I know your name. It's on the tip of my tongue. I go, think Brady Bunch. And they go, oh.
Marsha.
Yes.
Do you get that a lot?
Yes. Like to the point that there was some years in school that I was like, I'm not doing this. And so I went by my middle name for the longest time. So
when I was dating, I used to get, there's a song, come on, Eileen. Da,
Yes.
Da, da. Oh, my Lord. If I was on the date and he sang that, I walked out.
You're just done.
it's not
I
going
love
to work.
it.
Yes.
Well, I think we're running out of
are.
time. This is great.
I'm like, I really want to meet you in person.
Yes, I do too.
So I
can see
really
why
want to.
they put you on the podcast because you're great.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
such a joy.
I appreciate the invitation. This was
Nice.
such an honor to be able to talk to you guys. I love Pioneer Dispensing. It's one of my greatest integrations that we
you.
do.
Nice.
We love to hear that.
Well, thank you for that, and just congratulations on your life.
Yeah,
think
very
just
accomplished.
What a great example for your kids.
I
and
found
for
a
your,
new mentor.
for your
You're
grandson.
retired.
I'm retired. You've retired me.
I retired you. You are my new mentor, Eileen.
Well, he's family, though, so he's
That's
still
right.
in the
Yeah,
circle.
that doesn't
Ohana.
count.
It doesn't count.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we really look forward to hopefully meeting you in person one day.
Yes,
and
thank you.
so much, and have a good day.
Thank you so much for the invitation. You guys have a great day.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Eileen. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the Catalyst Pharmacy Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode,
Please like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts to help us reach more pharmacy professionals like you.